Welcome to Daily Bread. As always, this is a timeless reading, which means whenever you find this message, or whenever this message finds you, is when you're meant to see it. So please take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. Go ahead and press that like button, press the follow button, leave a comment, share. It might help someone you know, and consider subscribing. The energy's already been cleared. Let's get started. Let's start by asking first, what is the energy we need to focus on for today's message? Source, what are you trying to tell us today? What would you like us to know? Where would you like us to zoom in with your focus? Cosmic connection. So, Source wants someone to know that they need to lean into their cosmic connection right now. When you put your mind to something, you'll start to notice, if you look back at the different versions of yourself. So this is about your cosmic connection with yourself, this connection that you have to versions of yourself that don't exist anymore and versions of yourself that are yet to exist. So if you look back to your early childhood, you'll definitely think, you'll definitely be able to see that somehow you were that person, but you aren't that person anymore. Same thing to when you were a teenager, same thing to when you're 20s. And I see someone who's here right now in their 30s, maybe their mid 30s, their early 40s, who is really starting to look at the things that they have expected versus the things that have happened, and you're starting to realize that you have some control over your expectations and you have some control over your actions in certain situations, and you can make choices where choices did not exist. And if you look back to the previous versions of yourself, you will see time and time again that's what you've done. Somehow you've made all the right decisions to get you where you are right now. And Source wants you to know, continue to trust that version of yourself, those versions of yourself that are coming, that are going to represent growth for you, and that are going to represent development for you, and that are going to represent new phases, and to understand that these cosmic connections, that we have to go through all these versions of ourselves so that we can experience ourselves the way that God experiences us. So let's go into the tarot and let's dig deeper. Sorry, it's too many. Cool. So, I'm seeing the Devil card, the Queen of Swords, and the Seven of Cups. So, what I'm seeing is someone found their power. Someone really found their power here. Someone was in some really dark spaces. And what I mean by dark spaces is you encountered some seriously dark energies. Maybe there was someone, you or someone close to you, maybe a loved one or a sibling who was struggling with drug addiction. Or maybe there was someone who was struggling with the S word, or Maybe there was someone who had just returned from war, I think, or maybe there is someone who you know that was a refugee. I'm feeling from the global south, that someone you know is being affected by some of the migration that's been happening there, and they came from a place. You're dealing with people. You dealt with people who you felt in their heart you have these connections with. Some of you had these soul ties with these particular people, and just because of the situations and circumstances that they have been through, they're just operating in a different consciousness than you are. But you let your hope to be able to influence that situation kind of cloud your judgment a little bit. And I'm seeing that as someone looks back through the different versions of themselves, you're going to see that one of the things that you have had to do in the past, and something that you're going to have to do again, is with this Queen of Swords energy, is you've made some decisions about what you're going to continue to nurture and what you're going to kind of keep contained. So I see someone finding a really objective positioning and putting their emotions not aside, but in perspective. Your feelings have a place, and you're realizing that they have been taking a little too much space in these particular situations. So now it seems like you've come to a point where you can see clearly. You can see the good. You can see the red flags. You can see the yellow flags. You have a bird's eye view of the situation, and now you're in a position to make some decisions. And here's the thing: when you are making these decisions, you have to choose what's best for you. But I'm sensing that I have someone who has a pretty good balance of where their feelings are, and there's a part of you where you've decided that your happiness depends on other people's happiness, and that's not necessarily true. So that's a path that you've chosen before, and now I see that you're starting to see options where you can contribute to other people's positivity and them being able to find their ladders and being able to find their boost, their nourishment, without having to be fully sustained by you and draining you of your emotions and your energy. So I see someone who is taking the time to stop, to think about it, and really think about, when you are making your decisions, when you rationalize things, who are you protecting? And it's important that you make decisions that help you, because ultimately your heart is in a place where you care about those and those around you. And as you look at your cosmic connection to your past and future selves, that is and always will be something that defines you. So even if you have to make some tough decisions that will feel like cutting off an arm or a leg, you will heal. And the good news is that you do have a lot of options. So let's pull an oracle card for some advice here. I'm also seeing for someone to remember that this cosmic connection goes forward and backwards. So you can always look at your past self and look at the things that you thought that you were coming up short on. But if you put yourself in the perspective of your past version and you look at yourself now, there will be some things that you came up great on. And here's the thing too: you have an influence now that you understand where you are in your role in this cosmic connection, that you can choose who your future self is going to be from this point on. So, poised. Yep. So I'm seeing someone who, someone has had to do some really tough mental gymnastics to try to make some of their relationships in their life make sense. and you've put yourself into some really uncomfortable contortions. And one of the things that you're doing right now is you found a position and you're like, okay, I can be here for a while. It's uncomfortable, it's a little bit of a stretch, but let me take a minute to catch my breath and then see how I want to move forward. And I feel like once you come up with a strategy to get yourself out of the knot that you're in, the key is going to be to remember your cosmic connection. Stay poised, stay calm, stay centered, stay in that Queen of Swords energy. Use your emotions for information. Give them perspective, but not control. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Bread. Take what resonated with you and leave the rest for someone else. Please go ahead and press that like button, follow, leave a comment, consider subscribing, and definitely share. I'll see you next time.